So in this video, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the reason why I like ufology topics, and I'm really into UFOs, UAPs, and all that alien topic, if you could say so. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of background so you understand where I'm coming from. So my dad is a retired commercial airline pilot. He flew for over 26 years for one of, if no, I mean for the most important airline in my country. He flew all over the world. Um, like for example, when I was 13, I went to Europe. I went to Asia, to Japan, to China, to Spain, to France. I was really privileged, right? Um, so when I was younger, we will travel all over the U.S. and it was really fun. Uh, I I've always really liked airplanes and aviation overall. So from a very young age, I was really into sci-fi movies. This is not the reason why I became a ufologist, by the way. Um, but like my dad was a fan of Star Wars, Star Trek, and sci-fi movies. Like I remember, I was really young when he it was during a holiday, right? And he went to a blockbuster and he rented Starship Troopers. I was really young, like really young, like maybe 6 or 7 years, and we started watching the movie, and then like he realized it was not a kids movie, and yeah, he stopped watching the movie, but you know, well, anyways, I digress. So anyway, I was really into aviation from a very young age. I knew my planes and I knew my starships. Basically, everything that could fly, I was in love with. Like, it's weird because I wasn't really into becoming a pilot myself. Maybe the reason why is because sometime I floated the idea of becoming a military pilot to my dad, and he was like, "No, no way. Like, I don't want you to go into the army and enlist and blah blah blah. It's dangerous." And I was like, "Well, that's the fun part of flying, like uh, air combat, right? Like dogfights. That's what really got me into aviation. Like, I'm really into World War II movies and history overall. I like watching documentaries, movies, etc. Well, anyways, so back to the topic. Well, I'm telling you this so you understand that we I come from a family where there are like a couple of pilots, and like my cousin right now still flies for an airline, and um, my uncle, which already passed away, he was like a flight attendant for some years before he got heart surgery and he had to quit. But so I knew my planes, okay? I knew everything that flew on the sky that was able to fly. I knew what it was, and from a very young age, I was really familiarized with airplanes, helicopters, and also, I mean, you can see, for example, right now, SpaceX rockets, like they're really noisy. You could say, like visually, um, like it's not. Well, anyway, I'm gonna tell you why this is important, right? So, anyways, if you're familiar with pilots, if you have a friend or someone in your family, or you know someone into the aviation industry, uh, you should know that there's always been like this weird culture of ufology around pilots, right? Like, um, my dad told me many times that they were there was really no incentive to talk about the topic because you could get fired from your job. So pilots that did eventually see or heard a UFO story, they just had to shut it up, right? So, but like my dad introduced me to a lot of his friends. Like whenever we will travel to somewhere, like you will meet these other pilots, right? And just as my dad, they will bring sometimes their family, especially if it was like a very touristic destination, like for example Narita, Japan. Like I was very privileged to go there 2 times, right? So those 2 times I met some like pilots with their families, and you will get along or not. But like most of the time, you will get along and explore together the city and go around and just get to know the place. So in one of those flights, uh, you will start talking with the pilots, and they will start sharing like stories, just like we do now in YouTube. They will start talking about like weird stuff happening, and they will say like, "Oh yeah, I saw something," or "This guy he saw something," or whatever, right? So, anyways, I was really into the UFO topic from a very young age, just from listening to my dad's friends and to my dad. Also, my dad will love to watch like the X Files and all of that stuff. So yeah, you could say I was biased a little bit, but not really because in my head this was really everything was just like sci-fi, right? So I was intrigued in the idea of maybe aliens being real. Like for example, I remember vividly when Independence Day came out. Like my uncle, he just bought like a huge home theater, and I remember going to his house and he was playing like Independence Day, I think in VHS or Betamax. I don't really remember. I was young, but like he will play this movie and the sound was like super loud and the explosions. It was amazing, right? But anyways, like that movie for me was like super cool, and I remember thinking to myself like, well, like this is all cool and stuff, but like there's really no evidence, right? Like all you can see is like people telling stories and sharing, but like it's just like ghosts, right? Or like Bigfoot. It could be real, but also it could not be real anyway. So I was really into this topic, but like some other topic, like I liked it just like watching a World War II documentary or a NASA documentary or whatever. So anyway, at one point I was maybe I don't really remember. I was like between 11 or 13 years old, and we went on vacations. Right, we were at the beach, and this was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Right, so we were spending. Actually, it was around this time. It's gonna be. Uh, well, I know in the U.S. was a spring break, but here in Mexico is um, sorry, I forgot. Well, it's our spring break, so Holy Week. I don't know if there's a proper translation. So we were spending our vacation time there in Puerto Vallarta, and at one point, my dad wanted to go kayaking, right? So we had to wake up really early. This was like not really a kayak; it was like an inflatable boat, right? And he wanted to go just rowing around the bay area. So that's something he really like. My dad is weird in that sense that he likes to buy a lot of camping stuff and just like wild survival stuff or whatever. So he told me to wake up really early before the tides were like super strong, so we could get into the beach, into the ocean mainly. basically. So yeah, we woke up really early. Maybe it was around 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I don't really remember. Um, it was cloudy. Like it was not sunny at all. It was um, like gray clouds, but like the ocean was chill, but there were like some waves, right? So we started pulling the inflatable boat, or I guess my dad was pulling it and I was like pushing it. Um, and then I was just like, ah, this sucks. This is boring, and I was just looking around. And I remember that I turned to my left, and I was looking at the sky, right, like over the on the skyline over the buildings, like far far away. If you ever been into Puerto Vallarta, like you can see all the hotels lining up perfectly all over the beach, right? Like far, far away. And if you keep walking on the beach, you'll eventually get there. So it's kind of cool. Like you can reach a super tall building that looks far, far away. If you just walk, you'll eventually get there. Um, so yeah, I was basically doing that, just observing. And then all of a sudden, something catches my eye in the skyline, and it was this metallic. Uh, I guess the best way I could describe it is like I know like right now there's like tons of videos that I watch and it's exactly the same object that I saw, but it was like metallic and it was like oscillating. So I don't know. I can show you. Just give me a second. It was like this. Not. I guess it had like a bubble right here and underneath. So it was not a sphere, but it was not like flat, right? It was like a UFO, a traditional UFO. I don't know how else to explain it. Like a flying disc, uh, and it was doing. Wait, hold on. It was doing this, like maybe faster, like this. It was wobbling. I remember that fondly. It was wobbling, right, like this. And I just stared at it for a couple of seconds, and then a wave hit me, right? Remember I said like the ocean was really calm, but there was like wind, and I don't know where the water was hitting me. Maybe like to my waist or something, because I'm really tall. So it hit me and like I splashed and I just tried to get up like really quickly and try to continue watching what was there, and yeah, there was nothing there anymore. It was gone. And I remember telling my dad, because he liked UFOs and stuff, and I told him like, Dad, and he was like, what? Because he's if you ever seen F is for Family, like Frank is my dad, right? And I was like, Dad. He was like, what? I just saw a UFO, and he was like, great, just help me get this thing in the water. Like he didn't give a fuck, right? But like that stuck to me, like that changed my life basically. Like I could not believe I saw a real UFO. And as I said before, I know how a plane looks. I know how a helicopter looks. Like my dad, he really liked bringing binoculars and telescopes and watching the stars. We will watch sometimes like um, comets or meteorites or whatever, right? Um, so anyway, um, that stuck that stuck in my head. That was stuck in my head for like a very very long time. So I came back home and something in my head was different. So I remember I grabbed a notebook and I wrote everything, like a journal basically. I wrote everything and I drew the object that I saw. and the notebook should be somewhere around in my parents' house. I'm gonna go and look for it, and if I find it, then I'll show it here. Cause it's gonna be like an experience, right? Like I'm 35 years old right now, so if I was around 11 or 13, then it's been a while now. So I basically, from that point on, I wanted to become like basically a journalist. Like I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with George Knapp. Like I wanted to become George Knapp, right? So next thing I do is just like start watching nonstop, like maybe History Channel, like well, I guess it was way before like ancient aliens existed, but like I started watching shows like that. Some of them were really interesting, by the way. So that's how I got to know about the Roswell crash incident and like uh, some kidnapping events and stuff like that, and Area 51, and basically like um, secret technologies and stuff. And as I said, like I knew some of that stuff was like fake, right? Like it was just being being blown out of proportion. So it was just like conspiracy theories and whatever. But like some of those stories were like really interesting, at least to me. And here in Mexico we have a ufologist which is called Jaime Maussan, and like he, I mean, I don't know where he gets his material. Like basically the dude is like a hit or miss. Like sometimes he can be really on point, and most of the time it's just like fake bullshit, and it's just for the show, right? Because he's making bank on that. And that's the other issue with ufology, right? Like you have all these dudes that they just want the money and they'll show whatever fits in their narrative or whatever they think that they sell. It's basically like those shows claiming they found Bigfoot or the Loch Ness monster or what other, like I guess um, like dogs that turn into human or human that turn into dogs and all that stuff, right? But anyways, like this was UFOs were different, right? Like I just saw one. Like I don't care if you believe me or not, but I just saw one. That was my mindset, and I was really young. I was going to school, to elementary school, and I remember in some instances like telling my classmates, and they will laugh at me. Like they will be like, "Oh, they don't exist," and you're crazy and all that stereotypical bullshit, right? Like the stigma, the fucking stigma. And I didn't give a shit. Like, well, it's just what I saw, right? But they made me doubt myself, and I was pissed at that. So at some point I was like, well, I'm not gonna try to convince anybody to believe me, but I'm just not gonna pretend it's not real because I saw it, right? And at least it's real for me. Like it was an experience. Like up to this day, I haven't seen something like that again. I saw some weird things in the sky, which is like really interesting. I even have a video of a potentially UFO, but it's like, it's so far away. It's metallic, it's not moving, it's just like shining on play day, like if it was a star, but like I guess the best way I can describe it is just like something metallic reflecting the sun, and it's like really weird. And right now I know one of the excuses or justifications is like, well, if UFOs were real or wherever, everybody's got a smartphone now. Like, why don't we see videos? And well, the reason for it is like not everybody, at least in my country, like not everybody is carrying a fucking iPhone 17 Pro Max, right? Like or a Samsung Galaxy S24, which those are the smartphones that have the super zoom basically. Like all the other smartphones, like the camera is shit. Like I know iPhone cameras are really good, but like all the other phones, like it's pretty basic stuff. Like not even pictures are really nice. Like especially at nighttime. So how are you supposed to record or take a picture? Like have you tried taking a picture of the moon with your phone? Like it just looks like a fucking uh, blur of light or whatever. Anyway, I'm digressing, I guess. I digress. Sorry, English is not my first language, as you can tell. Anyway, so fast forward many years. Um, yeah, I was on and off on the whole UFO topic. I was like, sometimes like, yeah, maybe I saw something else, right? Maybe I just remembering it incorrectly, or maybe it was something else. Like just I don't know why, but just like trying to dismiss myself. So if you're into this topic, you will remember that around 2017 there was the I don't know if it was the New York Times, I think it was. They broke out the news about the Go Fast video or the Tic Tac UFO. Basically, the fighter jets that recorded with their playing instruments like this weird UFO, basically. And the news story broke, and it was viral again. So I started following that again, and I was like, "Oh, this is really interesting." And then I saw the Bob Lazar story. Like I started just like following the Bob Lazar story, and then I met George Knapp, and like I mean like I'm not referring to meeting them on person, but like I found out about George Knapp, Bob Lazar. Yeah, sometimes Joe Rogan helped. Like if you've ever watched Joe Rogan, like he's a ufologist as well. Like he's really into the topic, and I started like um, watching documentaries like what's the name of this guy? Fox, James Fox. Uh, there's a couple of them that are really good. Like if you want to watch some good stuff, just go watch. Ah man, like why do I keep forgetting? Anyways, I just wanted to say the title. This is a problem of just like turning the camera and start recording. So I started watching like a lot of material, and yeah, I was like, man, there's something more in this whole thing. Like this is real. What it is, up until this day, I cannot tell you what they are. Like I'm not gonna say they're them aliens, right? Like I don't know if they're aliens. I don't know if they're interdimensional. I don't know if they're like time travelers. Like some other theories are like they've always been here in this planet. We're not like the alpha race. We're not the dominant species. Like I don't know, but there's something else. The technology is there. Like so, if you watch the news right now, it's so crazy. Like it's just like we went from mocking the topic to taking it seriously to now like we've have we've had like these Congress hearings from some congressmen just taking it serious. Like you have these military pilots just coming forward. You have the whistleblowers. and you have like all this evidence, which I know people that are skeptic will always remain skeptic, and that's healthy. But I also think like excess of skepticism is just like stupid, right? Like there's people that are skeptic, like yeah, I mean it's interesting, and I think there's something more to be said about the topic, but until I see the UFO or I see the bodies, I won't like I won't bet anything on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And so you went from mocking the topic to taking it seriously to right now it's a mess because we basically fucked ourselves with AI and with fake news. Like, there's so much bullshit going on in the world right now. The Epstein files, the Iran war, like, whatever, right? Like, there's so much stuff going on at the same time that it's really easy to miss on this news. And now, like, remember the drone incident? Like, I think it was last November, the New Jersey drones or whatever. So like they were over the news all the time, and up until this day, like we don't know what it was. Like nobody can explain what it was. Like was it China? Was it Russia? Was it Iran? Was it UFOs? Was it like some secret military? Like there's so much stuff going on at the same time. But anyways, like I just wanted to put this video out there because like the reason I'm like creating this channel is not mainly UFOs, but I just I just wanna basically put my 2 cents out there and tell you like in the end I saw one, right? I still believe that. It made me believe. I know there's something there flying like basically just whatever Bob Lazar said, that's what I saw. Like the acceleration. Like at the time, I thought it had disappeared. Right? I thought this when I was a kid. Like I saw something and then I turned around and it was gone. It disappeared. Like you can track a plane, you can track a helicopter, you can track a boat, but this thing was gone. Like there were no clouds in that. Like it was cloudy, but in that place it was like clear. Okay, so where did it go? Right? So I thought when I was a kid, like it just disappeared. Now we know about the acceleration. Like these things can accelerate from 0 to whatever speed, like in a fraction of a second. And if you're a nerd just like me and you start taking a look at the physics and at the math and what Bob Lazar explains about the gravitational field that they create and how they can distort. Well, I'm not gonna explain it because I'm not a scientist, right? I'm not a physicist. I don't like. I don't want to mess it up, but like it makes sense. Like if you start researching that, it makes sense. So yeah, I just want to join the community out there and tell you like it's real. I'm joining the army, the UFO army, the UAP army, and I want to know the truth. And probably we'll never have the truth, sadly. But I just want to know what it is and if it's real that we have the technology. Well, not us, obviously, but there's like some uh, military section or whatever that they have the technology. They've been trying to do reverse engineering on them. Maybe they were a little bit successful, maybe not. Maybe they have the UFOs in their power. Maybe they've already created man-made UFOs with this technology, and maybe we have the alien bodies. Maybe we don't. But if you see like the whistleblowers, like they said, like biologics were recovered. Where are those? Like, where do they keep them? Like, this is the biggest discovery of the human race. Like, and I'm not gonna say like if this is true, right? Because I want it so badly to be true. At least the alien portion of it. Like I know the vehicles are real, but this will be like the biggest discovery in human history. Like we're not alone. There's life somewhere else, and yeah, like I don't know if I know we we've gotta just like keep going through our daily lives. Just go to our jobs or tend to our businesses or just trying to make uh, ends meet. And but it's really interesting to me. Like this is one of those topics that really keeps me going. So please let me know in the comments. Like I'm just starting now my YouTube channel. I know it's like the audio it's not like great. I'll try to get like a new microphone soon or whatever, but like right now I don't have many subscribers. So it will really encourage me if I got your like, maybe a comment if you subscribe. I just want to build a community and talk about this stuff because right like still with all the news out there, like most of the people will think it's so bullshit. So I just want to throw this out there in the ether, in the void, and hopefully uh, I can find people that just want to talk about the topic and that are really interested in this, and we can share some information. And please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and have a great day. Peace. See ya.